All right, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Glad everyone is here. We feel a special, great update to the DeFi Defenders here, Volume 3. This is one you are definitely not going to want to miss. And we have lots of great things to talk about and discuss. So, number one, I'm looking at my screen here. I'm going to introduce from the way I'm seeing here. We have our brother Driptopian from across the pond, bringing the fire so strong that he had Boris Johnson resign. Say hello.
How you doing, everyone? Nice to be here. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. And we got our friend here, the crypto cat here in the bottom left, basically loving his flights. He's go so low go so low below the hard deck that even Marek isn't going to chase him.
That's right, brother. Hey, everybody, how's it going?
And of course, not lastly here, we got our friend Beach 360 out there on the West Coast there in Cali, loving life, I'm sure. So how's everything out there?
And remember, it's 365, a full year living on the beach.
Beach 365, living out there on the beach in Cali and loving life because, unfortunately, may have to sell some organs to pay for gas, but, hopefully not.
Wonderful being here, DR. Thank you for the intro.
Awesome. And myself here, OXDR, you can call me DR, call me Doc, whatever you like. Just don't call me Sally. But living life here in Central Florida, lightning capital of the world, and we are excited to get this started. So we know we have Forex's AMA tonight. We're not sure exactly what we're going to be talking about. It's going to be 6 p.m. Eastern time. We're recording this now, so it depends on when this gets out to everyone. But let's start it off here and let's see, what are some comments? What are some ideas of what we're going to hear today and what's going to be discussed and how this is going to go down? What do you think, Lee?
Well, I think obviously we had a lot of alpha drop yesterday by Forex, which was nice to see. I think we're going to talk about the scratchy launch date, which has been mooted as August 17th, if I've read that correctly off one of his messages. We're going to be hearing that the Drip BUSD farm is going to be unpaused before the farm's unpaused. That was in another message. I'm bullish on that big time as a garden lover. We're going to have, that's what she said. We're going to have a little bit more information on the Drip UI and the team airdrops from one transaction, hopefully, because obviously he's dropped all this in Stunners TG and in the Animal Farm TG. So hopefully what we're going to hear is a few more nuggets of information regarding those things. Hopefully he expands on them. And I hope if he doesn't, that he gets pushed to expand on them. And hopefully a little bit more on the whole thing with what's happening with the farms in general and when we're going to see an unpausing for everything and get this ecosystem rocking again, because that's what we're all waiting for. And that's what we need. And obviously the drip pump today, mini pump yesterday and today, which is nice to see. So hopefully what he's going to do is expand on everything that I've just said. And if not, let's push him to do it and get some answers, because it's a great time to be alive in DeFi, and seeing these little green candles is what we've all been waiting for. So it's a little bit of hopium is what we need. That's all we need.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, looking at right now at drip price, we're just sitting at 804 currently right now. We've definitely had a nice bounce and hope it's going to continue. And that's awesome to hear, of course, about the drip BUSD, because that's going to, number one, help support drip. It's going to help give another place for people not to be selling their drip, another place to park it, another place to earn on it, which is, great for the ecosystem. Beach, Decrypto, what do you guys got on that?
Well, yeah, I was going to ask you guys, when it comes, and I actually just did a video. I haven't published it yet, but I talk about this and I've brought this up, in lots of other videos. When it comes to Forex doing, an AMA, when he's talking about dates and timelines, I kind of tune out, right? Like I like to listen to him talk about, the functionality of how things are going to work, his vision of what it's going to be, the big picture stuff. I mean, that does get me super excited, but I don't put a lot of weight into a certain timeline that he says, as a way really just to kind of ground me and not create some type of expectation that will ultimately let me get disappointed. I was curious what you guys thought of that.
Yeah, I agree. Although I'm hopeful that trend will change now that he's got, a good team under him and a project manager and all that. So I'm hopeful But we'll see, regarding dates. But topic wise, I don't know. I think he's going to probably be pushing scratchies quite a bit and maybe talking some more details on that. Probably talking a lot more about the pig pen game. And I'm guessing that's going to be his two main topics.
Yeah, that's right. The pig pen game, which he did start talking about that, but that is probably one of the more newer things that he's been covering, right?
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is he understands. I mean, we could take a look here, right? We've seen the price of that. We've seen pigs had that huge pump from that 60 mid 60 range up to 75. It's kind of giving some of that back, but I think we found a nice balance here. I'm hopeful that we found a bottom as we hover around that $63 to $65 range. Two things open back up. So I've been seeing that so far, and it looks positive. And I think he understands the more utility, the more uses for this, the better it's going to help things as we open up, as we get money flowing again, as we get new investors, as the TVL grows. There's a lot of great things to go with that. So that's what I see as being the most beneficial right now. And hopefully he could talk about, as we know the platforms, it's how do we keep adding more utility, which he knows and what he focuses on to help everything keep growing and help the ecosystem, basically be strong.
Yeah, I think the pig pen game for me, I mean, I don't know the ages of everyone, but I was born in 1980, and seeing the hacker game and the way the mechanics work, or at least my interpretation of the mechanics, I'm like mega bullish on it. And I know it's seen a bit of maybe a 70-30, 70% positive, 30% saying, well, just do the farms. What they don't understand is most of this game has been built over the last 2 years by Forex. He decided to attach it to the pig pen as a utility. And I'm very excited for that game as a gamer, but also because, you've had the success that Crabada had, and there is a market for people to gamify their DeFi crypto investment. So what you've got to try and understand is that people like Forex are always trying to think a few steps in front of us. So if there's a portion of our investor base that is gamified, some of the younger generation or some of the, the plonkers like me that like gaming, it's going to address that situation, and people are going to want to maybe play with that, whereas before they might have wanted to sell. So it may pull back a few investors that are gamified whilst earning passive income, boosting the pig pen rewards. And I just think that for me personally, to add that kind of utility, and obviously all we've seen is a couple of screenshots. We don't know what this animation studio is going to produce, but the fact that he's hired animators to do the graphics and the artwork for these characters, I am very bullish on it. And I don't even know what it is yet, apart from what we've already heard. So like you say, DR, attaching utility and continuing to add utility to an ecosystem that's already bullish is the way that we attract new investment. It's the way we attract investors that we've lost, who maybe have felt that, my money's locked away, I'm leaving. Like some people that we've seen on YouTube recently, not saying any names. But if he keeps innovating like the way he's doing, and when we hit that unpause button, who knows where we can go? Because this is unprecedented for even me, all of us, because, we saw the farms, we saw the faucet, the garden and stuff, but now we've got this added stuff coming. Let's see where we can go with it. Because for me, it's a very nice way to bring a separate investor base back into the farm.
Hey, Liana, quickly, side note here. What did you play growing up as a kid? And I'm wondering what the differences are maybe between the States and the UK. Like I grew up playing Tecmo Bowl, Double Dragon, and like Contra. Like, do they have the same stuff over there?
Yeah, well, I started with an Amstrad. Well, my first computer was given to me by my uncle, which was the old Atari, which was, Knight Rider and the F1 game with the one joystick. Then I was lucky enough to have an Amstrad CPC 464 with a little tape deck attached to it, playing games like Terminator, Ghostbusters, Paperboy, and all that stuff. And then moved into the Sega Master System, Sega Mega Drive, Nintendo. So you got Super Mario, your classic Sonics, the Dolphin one. What's his name? The Dolphin one. There's a dolphin game anyway.
Echo?
Echo, that's the one, where you had to like boost your, your radar out. And then Golden Axe, Mortal Kombat, and then all the way up to last year's Call of Duty.
Wow.
And Microsoft Simulator, Plane Simulator last year, during COVID.
Mhm.
So yeah, I've played games since I've been 4 years old in 1984, and probably till the day I die. But yeah, we've got the same stuff, all the same stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I remember those good old fighter games. I used to love and live on the quarter machines of Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat back in those days. And
oh yeah, so bringing any element of gaming to DeFi, and indeed the drip ecosystem and Animal Farms ecosystem, it just appeals to me. It's just my thing.
And you made a good point. I don't know if anyone wants to add on it about bringing up the Krabata, and that was over on AVAX. I mean, that thing definitely blew up. A ton of people were covering it. A ton of people were playing it. There were a lot of other big YouTubers covering it. They had NFTs to buy and sell, and there was so much different mechanics around those that Forex is smart. He's watching everything. He's already innovating things. He sees something and goes, oh, that's great, but I can take it and turn it into this. And that's like the strength that he brings. He sees something, but he doesn't just say, oh yeah, this is great, I'm just going to do the same thing. I always joke that I look at him like the Steve Jobs of the DeFi space. He's just always sitting there trying to change things up and really won't accept anything less than something that is the best, which that level of quality and not accepting anything below what he feels is the best that could possibly be, I think, is what the strength and what makes people attracted to the ecosystem.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm curious, guys, like, because I don't know enough about, I don't know a ton about gaming. I actually never made it past the original Nintendo. But Krabata, is there any other play to earn game that has been successful? Because I've heard that like they haven't really figured out how to do that yet.
That was kind of my concern. Krabata blew up pretty good, but I don't hear anybody talking about it now.
Well, and all the other ones, there was a lot of other ones during.
Yeah, there was a handful.
December, there was a bunch, but I don't think those ever really.
There was Pegaxi and Krabata, and now that you talk about it, I can't name the other ones. But yeah, that's my only concern with this one is just the longevity potential of it. I hope it lasts longer than Krabata and those others do. I'm sure Krabata is still going, but I don't know, if it's still being quote unquote successful.
I think the difference is with this is most of the play to earn games in crypto, and some of them I can't even remember the names to them, they are the utility. So you've got Krabata. I don't know the ecosystems of these things, but you've got these play to earn games that are launched as play to earn games that attach themselves to an asset and an NFT, which is obviously like a singular motion. So it's just like releasing a game. Whereas we've already got Drip, we've already got the Faucet, we've already got the garden, we've got the pig pen, we've got the piggy bank, the farms, the pools. This game is built as a utility for our underlying assets and our farms and pools.
Right.
So it's just another like a branch of a tree, if you like. So we've got the farms, we've got the pools, and then somewhere out here you've got a little game, which is it's just a utility attached to an already massive ecosystem. So the project doesn't rely on the project itself. Like Krabata and these other ones that I've looked at, they've got no roots. They're just like, there you go, play that and earn AVAX.
Right.
Whereas this, you're playing with something like, for instance, the hacker game. When you buy your character, they are going to auto stake your pigs into the pig pen. So if you remove the game, you've already got your asset that's been planted into our ecosystem. Whereas now you can play the game separately and just branch off and do your other stuff with it. But essentially you have got the roots planted in the ground, which is your pig pen. This is more a case of, we've given you something else to do here. Or you could go into the, earn your BNB in the dog single asset pool, which is obviously going to pay us in BNB. And the people that sell when it's unpaused are going to be taxed 90% and then ratcheted down to the 6 if you're a good actor. So I think not knowing too much about play to earn I just think they release as, oh, we're going to sell NFTs, expecting that the money's going to be coming in for people on the NFT hype. And there's no foundation for that game. Whereas we have got, if you don't want to, if the game doesn't do too much in revenue, it doesn't really matter because it's attached to the pig pen, which is doing its own thing from taxes anyway. Do you get what I mean? So I think that's where we're kind of heading with that, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and that was something I was thinking myself, and you hit the nail right on the head, is the fact that they are standalone. There's not else to it except for that. So you get the hype, you get the pump, but then it's okay, then what? And that's why I even brought up myself, like the Steve Jobs thing, because I mean, the way I look at it is Forex is probably building like an Apple ecosystem in his own. Think of it, right? You have an iPhone, you have Macs, you have an iPad, you have Apple Music. You can go on the Apple iPod store. You can play games on it. You can buy this. You can do that. You can have AirPods. There's so many parts of that ecosystem to do that you don't have to use them all at once, but they always keep feeding the main part. And I think that's how he's looking at it, is all these different parts that keep feeding the main Animal Farm and drip. And like you said, you can go and maybe take a couple of hours, a little time, and play a game here. And when you're done, do something else. But it just overall feeds everything, that you have to have a lot of parts to it, which is very difficult to do and to do properly and to execute on, which obviously we believe and know Forex can, but it's not many that can build those many different parts and have them all work together.
Yeah, and DR, I think you even said it in one of your more recent videos where you've brought up this Steve Jobs comparison. And I think even looking at, pissing people off, right? Which Steve Jobs was a master at, and Forex with some of his delays and some of the ways that he thinks, like he's pissed a lot of people off. But it's I forget how you tied it together, as though like there's a lot of people that doubted Steve Jobs and were upset with him. You know what I mean? And
He even got booted out of Apple once, and then they begged him to come back. So
right, exactly. Yeah. So
well, that's a lot of great things and some great combos. And we know we're getting ready for, like I said, this AMA coming up here in a couple of hours Eastern time as we are currently recording this. But I kind of want to turn this over for a second to our good friend Driptopian. I think he wants to drop a little alpha and a little bomb on us here. So I'm going to just turn that over.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, I'm very pleased and proud that I've been given the opportunity to interview Forex in my own AMA. And yeah, I am. Cheers, guys.
Give it up.
I did drop a little nugget of information on my video yesterday. I think it was saying I've got an interesting AMA coming. Some people guessed it, some people didn't. But yes, it is with Forex. I'm not allowed to give the time and date because obviously it's subject to change. We don't know how busy things are going to happen, but it's going to be in the next 10 to 14 days. And Forex is going to announce it in his Forex Short Calls Telegram channel. And he will give the time and date. And yeah, I'm super happy with it. I'd like to know from the community that's watching, from all of our communities, and indeed the people involved in this DeFi Defenders group, we want good, honest, integral questions to this ecosystem that maybe haven't been touched on, because obviously we don't know what's going to happen tonight. So we need to listen and learn and educate ourselves. But, I've got an opportunity to speak to the man himself, which I'm actually quite nervous. I didn't think I was going to be, but as it gets closer and closer, I'm starting to feel a bit more nervous, but that's good because it's excitement as opposed to nerves, I suppose. But I really want to take the opportunity on behalf of us all to ask him the right questions and get some information that maybe we haven't quite got the whole of. Do you get what I'm saying? I want some real
Lee,
good stuff.
Lee, let me ask you something. And by the way,
Yeah.
congratulations again. I love it.
Thank you, sir.
But if you could kind of like envision you a month ago or a month and a half ago, where you didn't think an AMA with Forex was in the deck of cards, what is it, something that a month or a month and a half ago you thought to yourself, man, I wish I could just ask him this? What would it be? Because that was the fearless Lee, and I want to make sure you don't get, watered down by nerves as you go into it. So I want to try and summon the Lee from a month ago. What is it I'm gonna hold. Let's hold you accountable right now to this question. No filter. What is it you would want to ask him?
God, no, that has put me on the spot because I've got so many questions. But I think the main,
Well, let me do this. You think of that for a second. Think for a
Yeah.
moment.
Okay.
Number
okay.
one, while he's thinking, I want to, of course, tell everybody watching here, stop what you're doing for a second. You need to go to Driptonian channel. We have our links below in all our descriptions. You need to subscribe immediately. You need to hit that bell icon.
Yes.
Make sure you're on his channel, and you need
Yes.
to start dropping him some comments. Leave a comment. What do you want answered? What do you want to know? Leave comments in all our channels as well, of course, so we can forward them along. But make sure you, number one, I mean, you've been putting in the work. You've been doing what is necessary. You're going to be rewarded for it. So it should be recognized. And I want to make sure we're recognizing that. But just to make sure that, number one, everyone stop what you're doing, subscribe to his channel, make sure you're there, give this a like for on his end, and leave a comment of what you want to know and what you want to ask. I think that's important. So I gave you enough buffer time to hopefully think. So I think we can come back now. Hopefully you had enough time to
yeah.
response.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that as well. Thanks very much. I think one of the only things that I've been thinking about since joining the force and then seeing other projects do certain things, and Forex actually mentioned this in one of his comments, saying where he sees some really good ideas from other drip forks and then thinks, well, why have you done it so bad when you could have done it this way? So I quite like the EMP money lottery for the good behavior reward for the biggest deposit. Now, those that don't know, if you are the biggest deposit of the day, but well, there's two ways to win. First one is the biggest deposit of the day. You get a share of the day's taxes as a lottery win. I.e., last week it was $37,000 you could have won in native EMP. The other way was you buy lottery tickets. Now, I know we've got the chain link thing for the scratches. One of the things that I always thought when I saw that EMP thing is, how cool would it be with the new drip UI that we could have some form of drip lottery so that you could instantly become a 2,000 or 1,000 drip faucet holder and give people a chance who can't build bags with fiat on ramping. They're compounding, they're good actors. So for instance, if you've been a good actor for the last, I don't know, 3 months or whatever time frame it is there a way these people could enter a lottery to be rewarded for their good behavior? Because they're just treated the same as someone who's claiming and selling every day. And when I say treated the same, the protocol doesn't recognize, other than your max payouts, how good you are at hydrating or depositing new capital. So I kind of like the lottery effect that EMP has. And I think with drip, because the amount of holders we've got, which is something like 40 times the amount of EMPs, how good that would be with the Chainlink partnership doing the scratches. It could easily be implemented, not a dev, by the way, into our faucet. And not necessarily thousands and thousands and thousands of drip, just an incentive for good behavior. I think that's kind of one of the things. Without asking him in that length of question, that's my whole answer. But I'd find, a punchy question for that. Is there a way of doing a good actor lottery system, maybe something like that? That was my 2 months ago question for an AMA.
And that's a great question, honestly, because people have positive net faucet or net deposit value, whatever the proper term is, who are not just draining the system, who've put into the system where, I've put in 50 drip and it's great to build a team. There's nothing wrong with it. And it's great the way things work with that. But, if you've claimed way more than you've put in or not hydrating, then rewarding based on what you're saying, that's a great idea and a great suggestion.
It is. Have you talked to DevStreak about that?
I haven't.
Maybe
Could be worth a mention.
Yeah, I think so.
I do like the the lottery thing, but what I don't like about it is that it has to be the largest deposit of the day.
Yeah.
And I think that, there's obviously a whale issue there. So I think by maybe having two, where you would have one lottery for the biggest deposit and one just totally random for any deposit during that day.
Or a
they could
minimum.
win a share or
best
win
team leader.
A minimum
referrals or something, anything.
Right. Yeah.
Deposited at least X amount of drip for the day, and also a lottery. If you've done at least X amount for the day, you automatically get an entry. And also if you buy entries.
Or every hydrate, you get you know, half a ticket or a ticket, you know, like my raffles on stream. If you get, you know, if you hydrate I don't know how you'd work it with mechanics wise, but if you're hydrating for a whole week, you get one ticket for the next week's lottery. Something to reward good behavior, I think, would be beneficial to
absolutely.
to the system itself. So yeah, that's kind of, you know, I think it's a good idea that could be implemented even better by Forex. Can you imagine if Forex grabbed hold of that kind of idea? He would work out some crazy Hogwarts magic to deal with that.
Well, he did say in his last one of his last drops that he was working on something to make it more incentivized for the faucet and reservoir. So maybe it's something
true.
around that.
Who knows? Yeah, that's a good point.
Yep. So going on that and talking about different things, because, you know, we're excited to think of all the things that may come and all the things that are going to happen. But we want to touch real quick here. If people remember or saw, we had all of us a little guess of when we thought this was going to get unpaused. We had a little contest there for one drip each, if we remember. And it looks like only myself and Scott are the only two that are still alive in this, which probably might not last, but with the last two ones standing, so to speak. Shout out to Scott. No, he couldn't make it, but he'll be around the next one. So definitely also like and subscribe to him as well as part of definitely the Defender group. But so yeah, so you know, now we're gonna guess now going into advance of this evening, but doing so, how do we feel now from what we've been hearing? Whatever your updated thoughts now.
Right, let's have a look. Well, Luke can go first because he wasn't part of the original guess.
What are we talking about? Guessing about when the animal farm gets?
Oh, yeah, you probably weren't that there. Yeah, so we basically had a little contest. Everybody was putting in one drip each as like a little wager, and we were trying to figure out when was the animal farm and everything going to reopen and relaunch. So we had Driptopian here. He had July 7th at 6 p.m. We had Scott, the investor, had July 12th at 4 p.m. Myself had the 12th at 2:30 p.m. And the crypto had June 30th at 4 p.m. These were our guesses from our last one, thinking when we thought everything would be on pause. So now that we are where we are today, and what we feel and know and kind of understand how things may go, just what are your thoughts now, projections, where we stand, you know, as it is right now?
October 11th, 2 p.m.
You said that with a straight face?
I did, because I'm going back to what I was saying. I don't want to get caught up in these times and dates of releases. It really comes down to this for me. All right. It really comes down to, do I think Forex is going to deliver and the animal farm is going to be open? Yes. That's it. Because everyone else is getting pissed off and upset and selling and fudding, and everyone's going crazy when he misses a deadline or when something gets paused or pushed back. And it's like, well, clearly that's not doing any good. So I really think it just comes down to, you either are one or two people. You either think he's going to deliver or you don't. Now, the time of when that is, I get that that's important. I understand, but it doesn't seem like it's doing the community any good having such an expectation around time. Like, I just know it's going to, I just believe it's going to be unpaused.
True believer.
Yeah.
So that's why I said October 11th. I looked at that was like a Tuesday. I figure that gives me enough breathing room. I was going to go November, but you know,
we don't want to upset anybody watching.
Right.
Date is hard to say, but I think we can all confidently say a Tuesday or Thursday, because those are definitely Forex's most favorite days.
I would say Tuesday or Thursday.
And it makes sense. You know, Monday, think of the beginning of the week. Tuesday usually is a little bit different in that respect. I think of like marketing and other outside world things. And even like I know from my days before doing some marketing stuff, they always say emails are open the most Tuesdays and Thursdays was the best days to send a marketing email. So he's done his research. He knows why and days and things, and he has his reasons. But
I'm going to go 28th of July.
There we go.
I'm going to say 12 p.m. Eastern, but actually happens at 3 p.m. Eastern.
What do you think there, the crypto cat?
So he said Drip Farm is going to be opening soon, which kind of makes me think that might be next week.
I think that's ready to go. I think that's already done.
Well, there's nothing to do. All he has to do is unpause it. It only benefits pigs.
Exactly.
So why wasn't that? There's no reason that couldn't have been done.
Maybe
And
maybe he likes to shake out some paper hands, because
Yeah.
it's more difficult to shake out people in this DeFi world of daily ROI, isn't it? Because you can shake out people with whale games or, you know, manipulation in traditional, I say traditional, but you know, the blue chips and that, or just tokens that you hold. Whereas this one, you know, people who, like Luke just touched on it, and he made the perfect point. If people are upset and want to leave the ecosystem, then it's just going to take them a little bit longer to do it. Like Forex talks about delayed gratification. Well, there's also delayed selling. You know, if you want to empty your bags, it's going to take you a lot longer to do it, which is why the pig pen is on a 2% withdrawal daily. And, you know, looking back, you know, we've all covered Stunner in some way. Luke's done, you know, some good content on Stunner, and I picked up on it on a couple of videos back, where when the price dropped, he was like banging in 10 grand and just said, you know, people who say to him now, well, you're a whale and you're this and you're that, they weren't putting $10,000 of their own money when it was
Right.
dropping. And I think Forex is of the same mindset. If you've lost belief, then you just need to slowly leave. And again, there's some people in this community that I'm not happy with, and not that that matters to them. They can sell what they want and do what they want, but
Can they
if
sell
I was,
mattresses, though?
yeah, if I was to leave this ecosystem, I'd do it quietly and respectfully, because I wouldn't want people who are left in it, you know, friends and fellow investors, to listen to my FUD or my criticisms. So leave quietly, and then, you know, we all know, I've done it myself. I left projects way back when I first started. I left them and then bought green again. I just did it. I made the mistake of selling low and buying high. And now it's took me, you know, what is it, 8 months to learn. That's not how you do this, whether it be a, you know, traditional market or a crypto market. And I think Forex kind of, I'm not saying he's paused the farms for this long to shake out people. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I don't know the mechanics behind the Drip BUSD farm and why it's not unpaused, because obviously, like you say, Nick, it deals with pigs, not dogs. But I don't know if it's connected to everything else
Right.
in the back end. I don't know. But one thing I do know is that leaking that information to us, saying that that's going to open, is just, I mean, that's my favorite farm. It's my place to be, because it obviously earns pigs and it's from the garden. And I don't know. I'm very excited about that nugget, and hopefully he expands on that tonight. And if not, he will in the next 14 days.
And you know, it's funny you say that, because I was looking around and playing in BCS scan and looking at the Drip token and looking at some other things, just poking around, just seeing what's going on, what people are doing. Now I'm not the best at that. I definitely don't know most of half of what I'm looking at, but I started seeing and started noticing people making Drip BUSD LP tokens. I started seeing people who were putting, I was watching the activity on chain. I'm like, okay. So you can see where people are going, what they're doing. And if that's stopping people from selling, you know, even the better. So.
Yeah, my garden daily output is definitely starting to pump a little bit. It's good to see.
Hey Nick, as a, I mean, I know you do some developing. Do you have any guesses why the Drip BUSD farm has been paused?
Personally, no. The development I do is totally not
different. Okay.
not blockchain. So I don't have any frame of reference on that, unfortunately.
Gotcha.
The garden, the contract balance is now up to nearly 380 again. And that was down to 370, 4 days back? And then Luke, I saw your video earlier today, which I've still got a comment on it. I've got the last 4 minutes to watch, where you showed Stunner's Drip BUSD balance that sits in the garden. I saw your freeze frame.
Mm-hmm.
He's got like 7,800 of them sitting there, which obviously tells you
Yeah,
that is liquid, ready to go somewhere. Where's it going to go? Drip BUSD farm. What's it going to do? Earn loads of pigs. What's the pigs going to do? Earn BUSD. Contract share. You know what I mean? Governance token. And that was a great piece of information as well. Because I sat there looking at it thinking, I'll watch that video and completely missed that.
Right.
Kudos to Luke.
And you know, the thing is that I saw that and then it hit me out, because that was a lot of LP just sitting in his wallet. And I was going to do a video, but I was like, let me just make sure that is what he's doing. So like, I reached out to him. I just sent him a message, you know, privately, and he responded. He was like, yep, I'm going to put that into the farm to earn pigs. It's exactly what I'm going to do. I was like, I knew it.
Good call.
Yeah. So.
And that's great to hear. That's the thing we want to know. And I think most people here want to know, and most people watching want to know, is that, you know, the positive things that people are doing behind the scenes, getting ready. You know, there's a lot going on. We're in a bear market. There's a lot of FUD going on. There's a lot of things, and everybody would feel so much better knowing that there's positive things coming they're looking to do with these things, and places to place them and work within the ecosystem to move up these chains. I think that's a great positive that people might be missing and might be having some anxiety, and hopefully maybe, you know, not financial advice, of course, as we always say, but something that we can help people watching in the communities know that there is something better coming. There are positive things coming, and the big people in this ecosystem are looking to do this positive and play positively within the system as well. You know, they want to keep growing their bags just as much. They're not looking, you know, to move on.
Right. But as humans, we also, we fall victim to our own emotions. And so it's like, I think all four of us have been, you know, day after day for months, putting out content about what you just said, DR, and you know, I think it's getting through to, you know, a lot of people, but some just, they still look at price, they look at a chart, and it doesn't matter. They're unable, as Lee would say, you know, they're not able to see future value. They're only able to see price.
But that's the majority. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do bang on about price and value, and I didn't actually get it at first, because a lot of people ask me what is the difference, and I always bring them back to something I said. And I've had so many messages, and a couple of whales actually asked me to clip it for them, and I didn't think it was going to be as popular as it was. But I basically talked a little story, and it's a little snippet for people that don't know the difference between price and value, what it means to me, and it's a thing. So my dad died when I was 28 in 2008, and the only thing I've actually got left of his, because he gambled all his money away, bless him, was his dressing gown, which still had his scent on it. I can't remember the sound of his voice. I can't remember what he smells like, because I've got no video footage of him, all that stuff. So I said, that dressing gown, the price of it is about 10 pence or 5 cents. It's worthless. But the value to me, if someone wanted to buy it, it's priceless, because I'm not going to sell it. You know, you'd have to offer me a lot of money to set my family up for life, where my dad would say, you've got to sell that piece of old rag just to sort your family out. So if someone said to me, I'll give you 10 grand for that tomorrow, I'd say no, because it's the only thing that I can still smell that smells like him. So the value of it to me is so much more than the price of it. And I mean, I said it was a throwaway comment, but when you talk about price and value, they sound the same, but they're so different. They are so different. And when you hear Forex talk about the value, you know, he talks about people selling at price. Like, we can look at price and it's $8. But if you believe the value to be something different, then you wouldn't sell it, would you? You'd hold on to it.
That's an amazing point, and a great point, and a great comment regarding thoughts on that, and how to visualize, help people visualize those two comparisons. So, I mean, that's awesome in that respect.
Thank you.
And if, you know, anybody else, please, of course, definitely chime in. But, you know, it just makes me think of, like you said, you know, there are people, DeFi is definitely meant where, you know, you want to grow, you want to be in strong protocols, strong platforms. Devs do you believe in? We all obviously, you know, feel that way strong with Forex, and, you know, there's other things out there. And, you know, yes, you should take profits and take income responsibly. You know, we are in this also to pay ourselves, you know, so that shouldn't be sacrificed, but there is a responsible way to do it while also still building the value, and while still all building, your future nest egg. And with his background in the financial world, and he's trying to build all of this, right? For that, he's trying to build it to say, you know, this is basically like people, like he said 1,000 times, who have this huge investment and they just live off the dividends. They're not selling the principal, you know, and you would have to build it. Now, you know, I'm not in that position to think of, oh yeah, I have enough pigs where I could live off the BUSD, because that's, you know, that takes time to get there. But if somebody had that larger amount, you could easily do that. And that is the way that people who are very wealthy play the system. They take loans against their assets. They don't sell them, because you don't get taxed on loans the way you get taxed on sales, if you know that side of the game and all those kind of things. So there's so much that goes with that. So, you know, for everybody watching, listening, you know, definitely, just like Driptopian said, Lee said, it would hit the nail right on the head, is, you know, see the value, build the value. Yes, you can still pay yourself. Yes, you can still take out, you know, some here and there, what you need to do for your life. But there is a lot of value here. And I think it's been so long that we've seen it, is where people right now are questioning because of the time, which it is what it is. We're here. You can't do anything about it. You can't go back and change it. So I don't usually try to waste my time on that, but what can we do now? So we just have to look at the future and look at where we're going and where things we believe are going to be.
Excellent point. I think that's a good way of rounding this up here.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I think
Cool,
the
man.
Crypto Cat had something he wanted to bring about, a little game for maybe today's AMA. You want to drop something on
Okay.
that?
Yeah, so you know, the past AMAs have been kind of fun if we pick a drinking word game. And in the past ones, we, you know, we've had collateral rehypothecation. I can't even say it. Rehypothecation. And
Lateral rehypothecation.
you know, that, say that 5 times fast.
No.
So I just thought we'd try to pick a drinking word of the game of the day.
Ooh.
What is he going to talk about tonight?
Oh, you mean like what word is he going to say the most of? That
Yes,
That if
in
we were,
the AMA
when-
that's going to be in 2 hours.
when listening to it, every time he says that word, you have to drink.
Yep.
Easy, 100%.
Good one.
Dividends.
Dividends.
Or divs. Dividends or divs.
Maybe scratchy. Yeah.
Oh, it's a good one, though.
Yeah. We'd be hammered for
I mean,
that.
Well, Blake, good to know. And hopefully people who are watching this, and this is probably going to be shared and put on our channel after the fact, because we're all getting ready
Right.
now to hear Forex. So anybody who wants to add their own of what they felt was the one, maybe what's the one, you know, that they heard the most, it'd be great to drop that comment and drop that in everybody's channel, what they see here. And also, again, what do you think about this here? You know, we try to bring everybody value. We try to discuss things that we feel are important and people want to know about and people want to listen. So we would love to hear from all of you. You know, drop some information, drop some feedback of what you think, what stuff you want to hear us cover more, especially now as we're getting into Forex's upcoming MMA. Driptopian has amazing alpha that he dropped on us, and he's got some preparations to do. So again, make sure that you are leaving a comment. You go to his channel, give him that subscribe, as we said. Make sure you're leaving comments and questions of what you want to know, what you want to hear. And the thing is, since this will go live probably tomorrow after the fact, great to know what people feel. You know, comment once you see this, what you feel that you learned or you really want to know about from today's AMA, right? You're going to see today's AMA first, and then this is going to drop. So why don't you come in, leave some information of what you thought from it, what's your take after the fact, and what do you want to know from hearing whatever nuggets are dropped today.
Awesome.
perfect.
All right, so we're going to wrap up here. Anybody have any final parting thoughts?
No, I just wanted to say thank you again. This is obviously new to us, so we're still learning ourselves. But for me personally, to be surrounded by you guys is an honor and a pleasure. I respect you all, and yeah, thanks for inviting us on again. I've loved every minute of it, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and shout out to you, Driptopian, man. That's awesome that you're getting that, and that's hard work. That's consistency. That's you doing this day in, day out during a difficult time. So shout out to you, man. That's just, you've earned it.
Thank
for
you.
sure. Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
Absolutely. Ditto all
Appreciate it.
around. Keep on dripping, brothers.
All right, guys.
Yeah, don't forget about us, Driptopian, as you rise up further to the top, of us little guys. But definitely, again, hard work. Congrats. As
Thank
we
you.
end here, everybody's links are below. Make sure you like and subscribe and visit everyone's channel. Definitely, again, give Driptopian a lot of love there. Let us know what you think. Answer questions. We want to engage with all of you. And until next time, we are